On today's episode of the Double Bill Podcast, we discuss our favorite movie year, as well as our thoughts on Sam Raimi's return to directing. Also, to enjoy more content from us, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at double_bill pod. The Double Bill Podcast is owned by Unmastered Productions. Check out the amazing work we have on there as well. But for now, please enjoy this episode of the Double Bill Podcast. Alongside me, as always, is Jacob Deering and Justin Keller. How you guys been? It's been a while.
We're
just
out here living.
I was watching Fast 9 the other day, and
and you realized what real cinema was.
I realized that there is no God.
We just had like a long, overran conversation about the Fast and Furious franchise. Justin is an avid, just amazed fan of that franchise. I'm shocked.
There's nothing he would want to watch more.
And we just wanted to understand.
When they come out with the box set of all 11 films, because there will be 11, I will be the first in line to buy it.
But
have you seen Fahrenheit 451? I'm gonna do that to the box set.
He's gonna go the full what's that guy's name again? Michael Moore. He's gonna go full Michael Moore and just fucking like run up to your fucking apartment with a microphone and camera and be like, Justin Keller, are you actually a fan of Fast and Furious or is this all a facade? What's going on here? Fuck up.
Has one of the best action sequences of all time in Fast 5 with the bank robbery, with the safe, and it's two cars running with the safe.
What scene?
And they're going through the streets of Rio in Fast 5. See, you guys aren't real fans. You don't know anything. That's one of the best action sequences.
We never claimed to be.
Who's in that movie? What's that? What franchise is that movie a part of? I don't know what you're talking about.
Fast and Furious, the greatest movie franchise of all time. Guarantee. Put that on the box. You can put that on the box right now.
All right. Let's get into it. So today, your favorite movie year. I want to talk about this just because I think that especially us as like movie lovers, we have a year that probably got us into movies that was like, man, all I did was watch movies this year. Or we have a favorite year that we watched a shit ton of movies for. So maybe it could have been the 1961 or some shit. Maybe it could have been 68 whenever you had 2001 or 77 with Star Wars. Maybe you just watched all the movies from those years. Or maybe it truly is something that's just special to you. So like, I'm sure we all have different answers for our favorite year. Mine is
hopefully. What if we don't?
Mine is definitely going to be within like the last decade, especially whenever it's going to be definitely a year that I've been conscious enough to know what movies are. So that would have been anywhere from the year like 2004 to now will be one of my picks. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to talk about this just to kind of like get down to it and see what year you revisit this year of movies like all the time. So let's get into it. We'll start with you, Jacob. Oh, are you not ready? You not ready?
Wait, what if we have the same year?
That's
then we give each other a reach around.
Yeah. Then I come over and just give you a nice little reach around.
Let's go at it.
You ready, or you want me to start with Justin?
No, I think I'm ready. I mean, it is one of those sort of hard questions because you really realize how many years have had just excellent runs. I say maybe like right now, just sort of where I'm at with, movies that either I've watched that year or have come to watch them after the fact. Where I'm at right now, I'd say 2017. I mean, whenever you look at 2017, you're looking at Blade Runner, you're looking at
Wait, is that your answer?
It's my answer.
Oh, okay. Sorry, let me sit up in my chair a little bit.
I didn't know you were.
This is a great conversation already. Let's get it.
It's a great year, man. I mean, but like you look at like 2017, 2019. I mean, I'd even say that 2021 especially during that latter half, I really liked. But 2017, I mean, some classics that I've revisited countless times, like Blade Runner, Good Time, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Three Billboards outside of Ebbing County or Ebbing, Missouri, and then even things that sort of, I've discovered after the fact, like Ghost Story, Lady Bird, Florida Project.
I'm sorry.
What?
Where's Dunkirk?
Dunkirk? See,
I'm
I'm very sad with Dunkirk. Whenever that came out, I didn't get to watch it until like 2018. I was gonna watch it in theaters. I was supposed
Did you
to
not see it in theaters?
You didn't see it in IMAX?
Listen,
in IMAX 70 millimeter film.
I got hoed by my family. This is broke 17-year-old Jacob. I didn't have a car yet. Me and my family. It was supposed to be my dad, my mom, my grandparents on my dad's side, and my sister and I, my older sister and my younger sister. We're all gonna go watch Dunkirk in IMAX at AMC over in Georgia.
You and your hair like that.
I know. I'm like, is this the Rob Pattinson look?
It is.
This man is alfalfa right now. Like, what the fuck?
Alfalfa's like this. Still. I'm an inverted alfalfa. Anyways, let me fidget my hair while I talk to you.
Oh my God.
My parents made me go take my sister to go see Spiderman Homecoming with my sister because they thought it'd be too scary for her. I got hoed. I didn't get to see it until about like 6 months later, 7 months later.
Awful. And that's why Jacob hates Spider-Man altogether, especially Tom Holland Spider-Man, because he's mad.
Dude, that is awful.
I feel like for most of us, especially just our generation, like Nolan is that director that sort of introduced us into what cinema can be. He was the first director that I knew by name. He was also the first director.
Who?
Nolan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about John Watts because we just like mentioned Spider-Man Homecoming.
No.
Like I didn't know real cinema until John Watts came in.
Jesus, until he did Cop Car, then I knew.
I'm like, yo, are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, Nolan was the first guy that I bought Blu-rays from, or not Blu-rays, the movies. I bought it on for my phone, Apple.
You watched Christopher Nolan movies on a phone?
The Dark Knight trilogy. Shut the fuck up. I was 12 at the
time.
I'm
getting a call from Chris Nolan. He's telling me you're
David
not allowed
Lynch.
to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah. It's David Lynch you got to worry about. He's the one who hates it the most.
As y'all could see from Justin's background, he fucking hates streaming.
But even also, I mean,
fuck streaming.
With 2017, Terrence Malick also had a movie, and he's one of those
Terrence Malick.
He's one of those directors that sort of like he really comes in and he sort of just like sneakily puts his movies in. Like 2019, he had A Hidden Life with just a very limited theatrical release. But I mean, this was one of those years. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, he had a movie, Paddington 2, which is somehow better than Citizen Kane now. Is that came out. Baby Driver, which
Baby Driver.
I don't know.
My favorite movie of 2017.
I don't know if I've told the podcast this or I've talked to y'all about it. I do not like Edgar Wright movies.
Terrible.
I know. I'm sorry. I love how stylized he is, but his writing style is not. It's not necessarily my thing. But Baby Driver, I think that there's too much of a tonal shift that slows down the pacing towards the end with the shootout. And then it just sort of keeps going after that. Like I thought it'd end like 3 different times and it didn't.
I always said that movie, like I loved it the first time. And the next time,
the more you watch it,
you're just like, and I love it.
No,
I still think the movie is like good, but for me, Justin, I already heard you say nah. Me, it just like I just like more and more don't like it. I won't say it gets worse. I just don't like it more and more that I watch it. So
I'm looking at the director's wall right now, and I'm not doing a full in-depth analysis, so I don't know this for sure, but I'm willing to put some good money on it that Edgar Wright is one of the few directors who has yet to make a bad film, or even a mediocre film at best. I haven't done my research. I'm just spitballing, but I would go out there on a limb and say He has yet to make a bad or mediocre film in his entire film career.
There's a lot of movie directors that have never done that.
Yeah,
it's all subjective.
Go ahead. Say their names.
Tarantino, Chazelle, Ryan Coogler, Barry Jenkins, Christopher Nolan.
Chazelle. Okay, well, hold on.
Wes Anderson, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese. Shall I go on?
Yes, we can go back to Chazelle. Let's go back to Chazelle for a moment.
What?
First Man is just okay. It's good. She's okay.
Okay, now we're definitely moving on.
Yeah, now you're just throwing.
Anyways, so
no, I'm just saying, First Man is just it's good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's all slander, and we're getting off track. So
that is slander.
Not that we're back on 2017.
2017. I mean, you have solid to great. I mean, I'd honestly say that they're all great franchise films. You have Star Wars, The Last Jedi. You have the Lego Batman movie, and I think most importantly of all of them, you have Logan that sort of finished off the X-Men franchise as we knew it, and it gave this solid ending. And then Dark Phoenix came out, but you also have some cult classics like Happy Death Day is a favorite of mine. I absolutely love that movie. The Disaster Artist as well with James Franco and Seth Rogen, along with, Raw, Lost City of Z. I haven't seen Lost City of Z, but I know that these two are absolute fans of it.
I am. I don't know if he is, but I am.
Oh, Justin, you're not?
I enjoy that film. I enjoy that film. It's just not one that, gets put out on the player a lot, but I enjoy looking at it. It's a beautiful looking film.
Oh, it's a beautiful film. That's one of the best films of like how far you can go into insanity to find something out. That's one of the best displays of just like it. You feel dead after watching the movie because the guy is dead. Sorry, spoilers, but
spoiler.
It's a journey, and Charlie Hunnam fucking knocks it out of the park. It's definitely a film that I would study 1,000 times. Like James Gray, I think 100%. I think he's the top rated, underrated film director out there. Like
we have Spider-Man and Batman.
And then I just finished off. I mean, just to go down the list of directors, that released that year, you have Denis Villeneuve, you have Paul Thomas Anderson, you have the Safdie brothers, you have Yorgos Lanthimos, you have Sean Baker, Guillermo del Toro, you have David Lowery, Greta Gerwig, you have Steven Spielberg with The Post, Christopher Nolan. I mean, it is a heavy hitter year. You also have with Logan, James Mangold, and I'm excited to see when is Indiana Jones supposed to come out? 2023. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was the year where a lot of young talent had the chance to prove themselves, and it sort of skyrocketed them upwards towards that stardom and that power, along with classics from people that we love.
Yeah, no, I definitely 2017.
It's a great year, man.
2017 is a fantastic year. How about you, Justin? Let's reveal your answer.
All right, so Jacob, yours was 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump. Fuck, how do you do math? I'm gonna jump 4 years back in the future. I'm gonna go back to the future. We're gonna do 2013, okay?
I knew it.
2013 is my baby of films. This was a year that literally blew the doors open. I was like, this is cinema? Shut up. No way. I didn't know movies could get this good. Let me tell you. So look, well, first off, before we get to the good ones, the great ones, I do want to point out
the good part.
Yeah. The summer movie season of 2013 was perfection. Even though some of the movies weren't that great. We had Iron Man 3, Star Trek Into Darkness, Man of Steel, World War Z, Olympus Has Fallen. Fun films like that. Great Gatsby, Pacific Rim. Fun movies for your summertime vacation. Then by the end of the year, they hit you with so many heavy hitters, I didn't even know if I could stand when I got to the Oscars. The ones that hit me the biggest, the baddest, the hardest was Joaquin Phoenix and Her, 12 Years a Slave, Dallas Buyers Club, Captain Phillips, Short Term 12, Spectacular Now, Fruitvale Station, and Before Midnight. Those are all films I gave 5 stars to. There's not a single flaw in any one of those films. They're all perfection. But then you go down the list a little bit more and you see even better films than films, I'm gonna keep it real, that hold up better today than they did even in 2013. I'm talking about films like Inside Llewyn Davis, Under the Skin, The World's End from Edgar Wright, Begin Again, The Way, Way Back, Out of the Furnace from Scott Cooper, Gravity, and then one that is a personal favorite of mine and I've seen many, many times since, Lone Survivor, I think is one of the most intense and gripping films ever made. Controversial, maybe. And then you have the remake of Evil Dead, which is still to this day one of the goriest films ever made. There's so much gore in that film that I think could run in the Guinness World Record books for most gore ever used on film. So for me, I think 2013 is a phenomenal year and also had one of the best Oscar ceremonies because that's also the year where they took the infamous Oscar selfie with Ellen DeGeneres, Lupita, McConaughey, everybody's in there. And then the best of all, I'm the biggest Matthew McConaughey lover in the world. And he gave what I think is the ultimate Oscars speech when he said, "Who's your hero?" And he said, "It's me in 10 years. And I love everything about 2013. I have my rose tinted glasses on. I ride the 2013 wave.
I will say, hard. I feel like you got the perfect trifecta for Justin. You have Richard Linklater, you have Zack Snyder, and you have a Matthew McConaughey movie. It's hard. It's harder to please that man.
What more can you ask?
Did a Fast and Furious movie come out that year?
Although you know who gives McConaughey's speech a run for his money? Will Smith this year.
Oh, that's a good speech, man. Unironically.
After you slap the shit out of somebody, you still get up on stage and win an award. Oh, legendary.
And then you say, "I'm an ambassador of peace."
Justin.
I'm just saying, nobody else see the hypocrisy in that?
Oh, man.
Does somebody see the trashness of Fast and Furious movie? I guess rose-colored glasses.
That year, we also had a Fast and Furious film. We had Fast and Furious 6.
God damn it.
Also, the last film by Justin Lin before Fast 9. So I think he went out on a good note. We also had Denis and Enemy, which I like Enemy. The last 5 seconds still terrifies me to my core. 42, the Jackie Robinson story, Snowpiercer, This Is the End, Blue is the Warmest Color, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't Them Body Saints, Lee Daniels the Butler, Thor the Dark World came out that year. Oz the Great and Powerful, Thor the Dark World came out that year. So like, look, there's highlights and then there's negatives. You got to have one or the other.
I mean, okay, I will say Thor the Dark World did dominate that year critically.
Although I will say one thing that does hinder 2013 greatly. We did get movie 43. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad to have on your list.
Yeah, I agree. I think 2013 was a great year. But for me, I hope are you done, Justin? I just want to make sure we got all the movies.
Is there any controversial takes on what I just said? Anybody disagree? Like, no, fuck that movie, man. The movie was bad.
Not yet. Not until we get to other questions.
So controversial take coming soon. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I hope not. But for me, before Justin just behemothly and just abhorrently spoiled mine for no fucking
wait, I'm gonna oh shit. Oh, I showed it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Go ahead.
What are you
hold on real quick, Justin.
What are you about to show us?
I was gonna flash your year up when you said it, that's all.
God.
I just want to flash your year up. Come on, it's gonna be fun.
There's no need.
Justin, I need you to do me a favor while we're still on it. Well, 2013, I guess. Movie 43. That's so so familiar to me, but I can't
Movie
remember it.
43 is
Oh, that, yeah,
is
that
the
was
film where there were a bunch of actors who signed on to be in one thing, but turned out it was another thing, and they weren't happy with how it turned out, and they all tried to take their names off of it. But there was a contract that said you had to legally be in this movie, so almost every actor in that film does not want it on their IMDb page, says we were forced into this movie. Yeah, it's a whole legal battle for that film.
How do you get
that was the movie that Hugh
Jab-
Jackman had a ball sack on his face.
Yeah, yeah.
how do you get debated like that?
They signed on to one thing, and then midway through production, they turned it into something else because it's directed by 12 people, I think.
James.
So it's like
Fuck.
skits. Yeah,
James-
James Gunn is one of them, but it's directed by 12 people, and they signed on for one thing, and each time they moved on to a new skit, the skit turned into something that wasn't funny and that wasn't correct, and just it's a whole hodgepodge. You can
It's
read the IMDb trivia.
4% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know what I'm watching today.
Oh, it's definitely a watch. It'll make you laugh in some moments, but overall, it's like,
Oh
did
my
they-
god.
like how did they
If you
get-
look at the cast list, you're like, there's no way these people signed on to this. Like somebody like
Yeah.
put a gun to their head and said, you need to act.
It's like
Yeah.
it's every single A-lister possible.
Because I mean, I just assumed this is gonna be like a fucked up movie, like sort of like maybe like a Green Room or
No.
Salo, but it looks like it's just really, really shit.
No, it'll make you laugh. There's some funny.
No, it
moments.
won't.
That's
No,
just
there's
Justin
nothing funny.
because his comedy is stupid, but
We'll see.
it'll make you laugh, Jacob. It has some funny moments, especially if you watch it drunk or high or whatever. You'll definitely
Yeah, I
has-
feel like you got.
like
I feel like
some of the skits have their moments. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
I feel like watching it inebriated might help.
Yeah, fucking like there's a short film where Chloe Moretz has no idea what her period is. So like her and her boyfriend are like freaking out because she's bleeding out of her vagina. It's so stupid. And then Hugh Jackman has like a nutsack chin, like legitimately balls are hanging from his chin. Not like Thanos, like legitimately
Yeah,
a pair of nuts are CGI'd or makeup onto
No, they're prosthetics.
prosthetics
real.
on his fucking
oh
chin.
nuts! I'm looking at it right now. Nut section.
There's some moments in that movie that just like make you laugh and be like, how did this actor do this?
Poor
then-
Hugh Jackman, man.
And then there's other short skits in there that are like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Definitely watch it. Yeah, the year 2012. I've obviously talked to you guys about it, but for the audience and people listening, that was the first year that I ever like truly like watched movies religiously, whether it was at home or in theaters. But this is the first year that I ever like went to the movies on my own. It was the first year that I ever like just went to go see and watch any and everything. I was like buying Blu-rays for the first time. I was buying VOD, video on demand, whatever it is. This fucking movie year, I still consider it's my favorite year, but I still consider it to be truly one of the most monumental years for movies in the last like 25 years of like what it did for movies. I mean, first, it had one of the biggest movies of all time that changed the game, obviously, with the Avengers. You had the end of the Dark Knight trilogy. You had the start of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and then it was just a great year. Then you had a Skyfall come out for blockbusters. I consider 21 Jump Street to be a hilarious and great blockbuster. Wreck-It Ralph, Ted, go down the line. There's a great year for blockbusters. Men in Black 3, although no one talks about that movie, as you should. That is a really bad movie. But then you had Magic Mike, you got End of Watch, Chronicle, Project X, which is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Zero Dark 30, Lincoln, the end of the Twilight Saga, or was that part one? That was part two. The end of the Twilight Saga. Holy shit. Taken 2. Was that the one with like 20 cuts to him getting over a fence?
I think so.
Oh my god. that is the greatest piece of cinema we've ever had.
That's fucking cinematography and editing masterclass for you,
Yeah.
dude. That's like whenever you first take an AV class, like you have to get a shot of like literally every little thing that your actor does.
Yeah.
You have like 40 different inserts.
And then you had the first Hobbit movie, so it was like the return from the Lord of the Rings, although it wasn't like widely received well, but it was still like Peter Jackson's back. He went back to Middle Earth.
Yeah, I just think with
the Hunger Games came out. That was one of the biggest franchises. That was what an amazing year for blockbusters in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the bigger years for the blockbuster up until like 2019. Obviously, with like fucking Star Wars and Endgame coming out, that was a huge year. But 2012 was just like, it was just crazy because you had a reboot of Spider-Man, the end of Batman, the start of the MCU, pretty much what people thought might be the end of James Bond's Daniel Craig's run as James Bond in Skyfall, and then he was forced into the next two. The start of the Hobbit trilogy, and then you had your Oscar films, you had the smaller films, you had Django Unchained, you had Silver Linings Playbook, Life of Pi, The Master. You had Argo, which won Best Picture. You had The Place Beyond the Pines, Lincoln, Zero Dark 30, Amour. You had Looper. Looper is one of my favorite sci-fi films. Mud came out.
Flight. Oh, dude, Mud.
Jack Reacher, the only good Jack Reacher so far. That Tom Cruise did well. It was a great year for those as well. And blockbusters as well. I mean, even though this one's not widely received, you had a reboot of the Bourne series with Jeremy Renner. Even though that fell apart, but everyone was excited about that. What are you gonna say?
Was it Sam that showed us the whole Jeremy Renner app?
Yeah, that was Hayden.
He ruined Jeremy Renner for me, man. I fucking hated for that. I like Jeremy Renner, and then he made me watch that stupid YouTube video.
That shit was horrible.
That was painful.
Yeah, the major news of 2012 is you had two Abraham Lincoln movies come out. Lincoln, and then Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Hunter.
Whoop, whoop.
And if you haven't seen Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Hunter, I recommend it so much. It's one of the wildest films you'll ever see in your life.
I can't remember. Was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? I don't think it was, but was that a part of the Universal Dark Universe?
That was
no.
What was the first one? Tom Cruise as the Mummy.
No, there's one more that they did. I think there's two movies.
That one doesn't count. You're thinking about Dracula Untold.
Untold. Yeah, I knew it was some vampire movie.
But it was a myth. It was a myth back in the day that Lincoln hunted the dead.
But this film is fun and it's in 3D.
Jesus, he has it. Fuck.
This is a fun film.
That movie's a blast. I've only seen it once, but it was a blast.
look at Lincoln on the back, like ready to cause some havoc in the world.
All I'm saying is that if Universal wanted to start a dark universe, they should have started with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. They should have gotten it. Is that even Universal that did it?
No, that's 20th Century Fox.
Fuck. They should have collabed.
So technically, that's a Disney film.
Technically, yeah.
It's a Disney film.
But yeah, that's my year. 2012, just an amazing film year. I think I'm like looking at the list right now of like a lot of those movies that came out, and I'm just like, I've honestly seen like most of these. It's kind of crazy. That was the year that I definitely just like watched movies religiously. It didn't matter what it, like some of these movies I'm like, damn, I wouldn't even watch that now. Like Contraband with Mark Wahlberg. I don't think I'd go see that now, but like I saw that then. The Raven was really cool. Trouble with the Curve, the last time Clint Eastwood acted pretty decent until he did The Mule. Just a great.
I want to throw in a few little tidbits as well. Les Mis, which I think is a great musical, still is. I think Russell Crowe is the shining point of that film. A movie that a friend of ours really, really likes, and we didn't even know about it until she brought it up to us. And now it's one of my favorite romantic comedies ever, or even romantic dramas, whatever you want to say. And that's Stuck in Love. I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but that was a fantastic film, and I loved it so much. I don't know if you mentioned Ruby Sparks.
I've seen it. I didn't mention that one.
Okay, Ruby Sparks is fantastic. Has one of the best twist endings ever. Is that a spoiler now that you know it has a twist ending? Who knows? Chronicle. I don't know if you mentioned Chronicle.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you did. Okay. The one that I know nobody here saw, so I'm gonna be a one-man island for a moment. We got the fourth Step Up movie in 3D.
Oh my
Fantastic
God.
dancing. The whole thing is taking place in Miami. Look, Fast and Furious and Step Up.
Wasn't that
Two of
like
the
Dance
best
Dance
franchises
Revolution, the
ever.
movie?
Yes, but the story in it and the characters, I'm telling you, they had great characters in those
Oh.
movies.
Were they like your Fast franchise characters?
They were like my
Oh.
familia, yes.
The last movie I want to mention before we move on is Mac and Devon Go to High School.
I saw that film.
Snoop
I
Dogg
saw that
and Wiz Khalifa turned their amazing album into a movie about just the greatest pot smoking movie you've ever seen in your entire life. Please go see it on 420 next year. Just watch it whenever you want to smoke some weed. What a great film. Snoop
There
Dogg
is a scene.
acts in high school. He acts like he's in high school. That shit's crazy.
There is a scene in that film in a strip club that Wiz Khalifa goes to that really opened up my way of the world. I said, huh, that's good shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
All
Watch
right.
that scene. You'll know
Yeah.
it when you see it.
It was fantastic.
Why'd you say it like that? Yeah. That was good
I was
shit.
like, this is good shit. This is cinema right here. Fuck
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. Mac and Devon go to high
That's
school.
Justin
strip
taking his
club
first
scene.
hit of the blunt. Yeah, that's some good shit.
So now that we've got our years out there, so we've got 2017 for Jacob, 2013 for Justin, 2012 for myself. Now that we've got that, we got a little bit of an idea of why you guys chose it. Now let's figure out what your top 5 films from that year are. And I know that must have been a little bit hard, especially because you couldn't watch all those movies in a span of a week. There's hundreds of movies, thousands of those movies from those years. But if you could remember and put together your top 5 films and no rhyme or reason, you don't have to give me an order. Just tell us your top 5 from that year and we'll go from there. And we'll start with you, Jacob. Top 5 movies from the year 2017.
Goodness gracious. All right. Well, number one, I feel it's pretty easy for me. I'm gonna disappoint you here a little bit, Mike, but I'm gonna put Good Time on my number one. I know Blade Runner would be your number one. But for me, Good Time is.
How do you know I'm choosing that year?
Well, for 2017. But I mean, yeah, like if Michael said anything other than Blade Runner 2049 for 2017, then I wouldn't believe him. But yeah, no, Good Time. I mean, it's one of those movies to where, I mean, I've really never revisited a director like I have with the Safdie brothers. Their style with how energetic and how intense their films are. That's exactly how I want my films to feel. I want that energy that they create, and I want, I love how they play with colors, how they create these interesting pulpish characters. It's diegetic is awesome. Number 2, I would say, yeah, I'd say Blade.
Wait, I said you don't have to rank them. So you can just list them. You don't have to rank.
Oh, fuck. Okay, that makes it so much easier.
I'm like sitting here and I'm like, bro, if I tried to rank my 5, I'd be over here for like days.
Yeah, that's hard.
I'd have to rewatch. Just name them.
Yeah, no, all right. So Good Time, Blade Runner 2049, Phantom Thread, and then Killing of a Sacred Deer, and probably a Ghost Story for my top 5 for this year. I know that the Post and Florida Project, those two are sort of like tinkering around it. But yeah, no, I mean, like, pretty much like my favorite directors, whether like, new wave, like Yorgos Lanthimos, Safdie brothers, and Denis Villeneuve, the ones who've been around forever, like Paul Thomas Anderson. It's just, it's been awesome, man. That was such an awesome year with classics that I could rewatch forever.
I'm frustrated. You refuse to remember Dunkirk. You refuse it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
I watched it in 2018.
Doesn't matter. It came out in 2017.
2018 movie for me now.
Oh no, don't disrespect it like that. That's not how that works. Oh man, just say you hate it. Just say you hate it.
I love Dunkirk. Fuck you.
John David is watching, and he will do a temporal pincer and come kick your ass. Just say you hate it.
Hold on. While we're on Dunkirk, man, watching the trailer for that movie nearly gave me an anxiety attack. That movie is fucking awesome, man.
What movie played before the Dunkirk teaser?
What?
What movie played before the Dunkirk teaser?
Oh, you're
trailer
saying?
IMAX?
Are you saying what movie did the Dunkirk teaser play on?
In front of, yes.
Okay. I'm like, I've never been to a movie theater just to watch a teaser trailer.
I didn't work at a movie theater at the time. I don't know.
Are you talking about the prologue or the teaser? Because the teaser played.
No,
the teaser played in front of what movie came out in 2016? It wasn't a Star
I know
Wars.
that's what I'm trying to think of right now.
Well, it would have been an IMAX movie, right? They would have done an IMAX teaser.
It might have been Doctor Strange.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
That came out in November 2016, or it could have been something that came out in December of 2016.
What time? When did Arrival?
Did they do a Dunkirk? 2016. Did they do a Dunkirk prologue?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
They did?
He's done a prologue for all of his movies since The Dark Knight. Actually, I don't think he did a prologue.
There was an Interstellar prologue?
Yes. I don't think he did an Inception prologue. Because Inception wasn't IMAX.
Do you think it could have been either Civil War or Arrival?
Could have been either of those. I know the prologue played in front of some Warner Brothers film. But
BVS?
I think it played in front of that. No,
BVS.
No, that's well over. That's almost two. No, the teaser would have played in front of that because that was March of 2016. Dunkirk came out in July of 2017. He was filming the movie at that time, which that hasn't stopped him from releasing a trailer. But still, because I'll never forget he released the Tenet teaser while he was filming it in front of Hobbs and Shaw, which out of all the movies you could have released your teaser for a movie in front of, you chose Hobbs and Shaw, which okay.
I know what it was. Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yes, it was. That was a teaser. Because he always does 1 year from now in his teaser trailers. And Suicide Squad came out like August?
In August 5th of 2016.
Yeah, 1 year from now. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack. That is your top 5, Jacob, correct?
Yeah, top 5. Pretty loose.
Lock it in.
I'm sorry I forgot Dunkirk.
Yeah,
please forgive me.
He's already coming for you.
He's gonna kill me in reverse.
He's gonna come. John David is gonna do a temporal pincer and send Oppenheimer to your house to blow it up. So
well, Hugh Jackman, just some time travel shit.
All
right, Justin, top 5 of 2013 in no order, unless you have it ranked.
I was about to say I do have an order. I came prepared to school. 2013, number 5, I have Lone Survivor. This film is the only film I can remember in recent memory to where when the credits rolled, nobody moved even after the true story events happened. And then, you got credits, unit production managers, first ADs, all that. Still nobody moved. And we were in a sold out theater. This was at North Park, back when they had AMC Prime. They didn't even have Dolby Cinema yet, but it was AMC Prime. So it's a sold out showing. Not a single person moved. This and American Sniper are the only two that nobody has ever moved. Granted, very Republican states and very Republican movies per se.
Yeah, I got my ass up.
No, nobody moved in our theater. Sold out showings on that Thursday 7 p.m. time slots.
I had the biggest headache after watching that movie. I'm like, God damn.
Well, that shit usually happens with the Mark Wahlberg movie. Yeah. The headache.
Whatever. I love this film so much. I love the sound design. I love the story they tell. And I think it's also very, very intense. And it's a film that I watch a lot just to be reminded, like, I'm not a man, like, at all. Like these dudes are men. I'm like a boy compared to these guys. So yeah, I watch it for that simple fact too. But also, it's a great film. It's well put
You like
together.
watching men?
I do like watching Men. I think it's great.
This man said,
Can't
"I'm
wait
not
for
a."
next Friday
This
when
man
I
said,
watch Men
this
in a
man
theater.
said, "I'm not a man. I'm a boy."
When it comes to Lone Survivor, fuck yeah, dude.
You better have that in all of your Twitter, Instagram bios, everything. That's your slogan. I'm not a man. I'm a boy. I'm a real boy. Sorry, top number 4.
Number 4 is Before Midnight. I had the DVDs of Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, and I did not see Before Midnight in theaters. I waited for the Blu-ray because this was only playing at Angelica Theater, which is our small independent theaters out here. And I knew of Richard Linklater, of course, but I didn't know of this series of films. I didn't know he was already stringing together a trilogy, and this was the conclusion. So I bought Before Midnight on sale one day, and when I looked up Before on IMDb, it said Sunrise, Sunset, and I was like, oh, I have to do some homework before I go into this movie. So I did my homework and I watched the first 2 films on DVD and then the third film on Blu-ray, and I was taken aback by the story he told, the acting in this film, and the overall way that Richard Linklater does time. I love it. I love the way he views time. I love the way he shows his characters. I love the way he has his characters talk. I think Before Midnight is a perfect film and a perfect conclusion to a perfect trilogy of films as well.
Absolutely agree. But before you continue, Justin, I just need to know now, please God, is there a Fast 6 movie in this list?
Number 3, we have Fast. No, I'm kidding.
I will say Before Midnight is my favorite of the trilogy. But go ahead. Number 3.
My soft spot still lies with Before Sunrise.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all subjective.
Because I know. I'm not disagreeing. I'm putting it out there on Front Street that like Before Sunrise is like the beginning of everything, and it's the best part of it all. Like Before Midnight, you got a lot of arguing, a lot of fuck you, I hate you, and then you get that nice, sweet ending. But I don't know if I'm ready to like go all in on that. I know. I'm sorry, I'm going on. But Before Sunrise is my personal favorite. Number 3 is Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station is the first real independent movie I saw at a Cinemark in a theater. I don't think I'd ever seen independent films in 2012 in theaters. I think I either saw them through the interwebs or if there were streaming services. And Fruitvale Station was the first independent film I ever saw in a theater. And I don't remember if there was a big crowd or not, but I just remember watching that film, and when credits rolled, I probably cried. I can't remember anymore. But watching the film on Blu-ray, yeah, it's such a good, well-made film with Michael B. Jordan's best performance. I think Ryan Coogler's best film. I think it shows what independent film can do with a great story and great actors in it. Octavia Spencer, who plays Michael B. Jordan's mom, is fantastic. And Michael B. Jordan's girlfriend's name, who slips my mind now, but she's also fantastic in the film. The final 20 minutes is so well put together, tells a beautiful story, and it celebrates this guy's life in a way that I think should be told.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Short Term 12. This was a film that inspired me to even do anything in the world of filmmaking. When I saw this film, I was like, I know this kind of story. I've seen this done. And I didn't know it could be done that easy, though. Granted, every film is hard to make, but I didn't know you could do a film like this and have people watch it and enjoy it. They told a fantastic story with almost every actor in that film going on to do bigger and better things. And because they do that, they bring their A game in this movie. There's not a false performance in this film. There's not a bad moment in this movie. There's not even a mediocre moment. This is a perfect film on every single technical and and just acting level as a whole. It's fantastic. I love every single moment of it. And then number one for 2013 is Her. Her to me is the strangest romantic film, but also I think the greatest romantic film ever made. The moment that Scarlett Johansson tells Joaquin Phoenix that she's also having a relationship with 800 other people, whatever the number she says is, and you see that look on Joaquin's face as he realizes he thought the girl that he was going to quote unquote spend the rest of his life with or whatnot is cheating on him with 800 other people, but he's also an AI. So he needs to find that real relationship out in the real world, and he finds it in Amy Adams, who some people think is the most beautiful woman in the world, the best actress in the world. I concur. I think she's great. I think the story that it tells about love is fantastic. And I think, in all honesty, it is the most beautiful looking film ever made. I love all the colors in it. I love how it's shot. And it's a crime Joaquin Phoenix won for Joker over this, because this is the movie he should have won an Oscar for. That being said, Matthew McConaughey deserved it just that much more. But he's literally neck and neck with McConaughey.
I pick Joaquin for Inherent Vice, but that's just me. That's just me.
In your opinion.
Exactly. That is just me. I know you're going to see like, no, that's not true.
No.
No, I like that list. I disagree with only Lone Survivor, but that's your opinion, and that's your fine. Everything else is like perfect fit for who you are and everything, but Lone Survivor is the only thing I'd probably swap out Lone Survivor for another blockbuster, maybe Catching Fire or anything else that kind of came out that year. Just kind of keep it on that blockbuster level. I can't remember all the other blockbusters that came out that year, but Catching Fire is the one that kind of like sticks with me because it was actually like a really good film. But that's
I agree with you there. If I were to choose a number 6, it would have to be between two films, and that's Captain Phillips or The Spectacular Now.
Oh, both of those are better than Lone Survivor. Both of those.
No, I disagree. No.
Captain Phillips. Oh, I forgot that came out that year. Holy shit. That's a hell of an action film. You want to talk about Fast Five?
Yes.
You want to talk about Fast Five?
I'm not gonna let this slander on Fast and Furious go any longer. I will not.
Okay, my top 5, in no particular order. If I had to, I kind of rated it in just a simple way. That's like, what's the most memorable, and what's the ones that I rewatch and just sticks with me. So these will come as no surprise, but in no particular order, I'd go Django Unchained, Tarantino for me at his best until I just recently rewatched Jackie Brown. Now I'm just like Jackie Brown, Django, Jackie Brown, Django. Inglourious Basterds is like right under those two, but it's like Jackie Brown, Django. I don't know. Silver Linings Playbook. I've probably seen that movie the most times out of all these movies. I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember that movie kind of like giving me an idea of you can tell realistic stories about real people. That was the first time that I ever like saw that on screen in theaters, something that didn't have to be this massive big budget thing, that you can just tell a small scale story. And so I've seen that a lot. Jennifer Lawrence, to me, to this date, has not been better. She kind of hits her mark and does. She rivals it with American Hustle a little bit because she's kind of an unpredictable character with that role. But Silver Linings Playbook, she hasn't been better. Bradley Cooper, I wouldn't say it's his best role, but that was the first. I think that was his McConaughey moment. That was like, I'm not the sexy comedy guy. I can be serious too. And that was like the moment Bradley Cooper kind of like changed his career. The return of Chris Tucker, Robert De Niro. It was an amazing film. David O. Russell, still, I think that's his best movie he's ever made. After that, I would have to go to The Dark Knight Rises. Probably saw that movie the most times in theaters. I'll never forget that movie theater experience. I'll never forget it. I think that was the first moment I ever like realized people clap in a movie theater. That was one of the last 12 a.m. screenings I ever went to. The final one that I ever went to was Man of Steel. That was the last one I ever went to.
I missed what movie you said for your current one.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight, sorry.
So that one,
Did you go to the trilogy of that, or did you just go to the single
I just
Rises
went to-
premiere?
I was a broke middle schooler. I had no choice on money. If it was my choice, I would have spent the $50, but it was three of us, and my dad's like, I'm not spending $150 fucking dollars. So we went to the 12 a.m. final screening. But one of our friends ended up going to the trilogy, but we went to Grapevine, and they were this was before Grapevine.
I went to the trilogy.
This is before Grapevine had the IMAX and Dolby and all that. This is just their regular theater. But the trilogy was like, what's the theater off on the traditional side? That's right. Those two theaters that are like right next to the old concession stand that are the bigger theaters on that side. That's where they had the trilogy. And I'm like, I'd rather have watched it on a bigger screen now that I look at it. So we were in the theater 16 right there in the middle for the final. But yeah, they put the trilogy in dine-in and on trad. I think they were dine-in at the times. They just opened up dine-in, so they had it on the dine-in side and on the trad. But that was before IMAX and Dolby and all that. After Dark Knight Rises goes Skyfall. I'm a huge James Bond guy. Skyfall I've probably seen is one of the best action film movies I've seen. That'd probably be my top 10 all time of action films. If you're talking blockbusters that year, I mean, you go The Avengers, Dark Knight Rises, Skyfall. I mean, maybe Hunger Games is up there in terms of money, but Skyfall is up there. It was like this. It was a third movie in the trilogy, and everyone thought Daniel Craig was terrible because of Quantum of Solace. And then Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins come in and say, no, we can fix it. Yeah, we can fix this shit. Let's fix it. And they fucking fixed it into probably the best James Bond movie ever. Out of all of them, 22, 24 movies that there's ever been, that might be the best, in my opinion. And then my final movie would have to be getting down back to the more serious aspect into probably my favorite director living today, Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master. So like Jacob has said, but I still consider it a 2012 movie. I did not watch that movie until like 2014, but it came out in 2012. So it counts. So you still have time to put Dunkirk in your top 5, Jacob. No.
I'm not. I don't know. It's hard.
But I saw The Master in 2014. Fucking changed my life. Immediately went to go see Inherent Vice, and I realized I don't know shit about movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy Paul Thomas Anderson, he did The Master. What an amazing film.
He's a pretty solid indie director, I think.
Yeah. And then you go see Inherent Vice, and you're like,
oh,
what did I just watch? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But The Master, it's like, you don't need to get it. You don't need to understand it. You're literally watching probably the best acted movie of that year. Of just like
fucking greatness.
A powerhouse trio of
shit, dude.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
You could argue of the decade, man.
Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Joaquin
Rest in
Phoenix.
peace.
And then Amy Adams, the trio. I don't think I've seen a better trio in a movie that's just like all three of them demand your attention on screen. They just demand it. And yeah, that honestly, that one could rival and be my number one film from that year, but I didn't rank them because that'd be way too hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our top 5. So Jacob, quickly just what's your top 5 again?
My top 5, Good Time, Blade Runner 2049, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and then I have Ghost Story, and the fifth one. I forgot what I put for my 5th one. You know what? We'll do Dunkirk. If I could remember it, maybe there's a reason why.
I think you said a Ghost Story.
No, I already mentioned. Oh, Phantom Thread.
Damn, forgot about PTA already. Naturally,
I'm sorry, Paul.
Naturally, Justin has to grab all of his Blu-rays. Please, very quickly, Justin. Top 5, very quickly.
God. Oh, thank God. Without the Blu-ray, I wouldn't have known. Oh, shit. Okay.
Are you like muted? We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I had to mute myself because I had to sneeze. Number 5, Lone Survivor.
Oh, he started
Fantastic film. Yeah, we'll start over. Here we go. There you go. We clapped. Spike in audio.
No.
Number 5, Lone Survivor. Fantastic film. Love it. Mark Wahlberg's best performance.
Quickly.
Number 4, Before Midnight. Richard Linklater. Fantastic. Number 3, Fruitvale Station. Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler's best movie. Number 2, Short Term 12. Look at that. It's beautiful. All right. And then number 1, Her. Look at that. Look at Joaquin. Beautiful. Love it. Number 1, Her. Best movie of 2013.
Hold on. While we're on Her, I'm so sorry, Michael. While we're on Her, are y'all on?
Here, we'll put it back up.
Are y'all on film Instagram, like the film accounts on Instagram?
I'm not really on Instagram like that.
Yeah. Whenever I started following like way back when some Instagram accounts. Anyways, dude, film bros have ruined Her for me, along with a couple other films. It's just I've never seen a movie be so overexposed with film bros, just giving the love to it. I'm sorry, Justin. I love Her. It's a great choice. It's just been ruined for me.
That's very unfortunate for you.
I probably cut that. I probably cut that out because I don't want to hurt Spike Jonze's feelings nor Joaquin Phoenix if we ever get famous.
That's interesting. I would have guessed it was like any Tarantino movie.
Oh, that too. I can't. Honestly, I can't bring up Tarantino ever anymore.
Honestly, maybe it's because I'm not on the comments section, but I like never see anybody talk about Her. So like that movie.
Oh, dude, it's Her.
5 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
Her fucking like any Hugh Jackman movie. It's just like film brush. It's so weird, but like it's
any Hugh Jackman film. They're talking about Les Mis on the forum.
What?
No, like Prisoners, Logan. Well, really those two.
They're no
mainly Prisoners. Okay, that list wasn't as extensive as I thought.
I'm like sitting there. I'm like, those do not come to mind for film, bro. Any Hugh Jackman movie?
Well, that's what I'm. Well, just like okay, I guess any Denis Villeneuve movie from Enemy upwards onto Blade Runner 2049.
Hey, if that's your film, bro, that's fine.
But it's Denis Villeneuve. So like
I would have guessed any A24 movie or Tarantino.
Any A24 movie,
like literally, bro. Film bros kill me with the A24 shit. You two especially. Like that shit is annoying. Like you guys don't even know the directors of some of those movies. You just know A24 did it. I'm like, God.
I do.
That's why
are you talking about me?
I'm talking to just anybody. Like some people don't even know the directors. Like they just know A24 did it. And I'm like people are watching The Northman and they expected A24, and I'm like, that wasn't A24. That was Focus Features. Like A24 is not God.
Oh my, well, dude, anytime like they see like any like quality
independent film like A24 vibes, and I'm like, it's just an independent fucking film, dude. Like let's relax a little bit. A24, I don't even think A24 is even won a Best Picture.
Moonlight.
Oh. I consider that Plan B. I consider that Brad Pitt.
What?
Yeah,
I think Moonlight helped develop it. That was one of their first movies that they
nope. I've done extensive research with Moonlight.
That was A24.
They distributed it.
Produce.
Yes.
Euphoria. Fuck you, Euphoria.
If you distribute it, you are a producer.
Also, we gotta cut out some. Like I keep shitting on some movies and directors. I don't want to get spanked. You gotta cut those out. I can't help it.
Moonlight was Brad Pitt, Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, or something.
I can't. Who
Brad Pitt is so underrated, man. You know how many goddamn great movies he and his team produces.
You know what? I believe you, Michael. I can't find a specific answer. There's some. What is the first movie that A24 like actually helped produce financially? Was it La La Land?
I know Spring Breakers. No, La La Land is a studio.
I don't remember.
La La Land is Lionsgate, not A24.
I'm sorry. Okay, I made a mistake.
But anyways, my top 5. Django Unchained, Django Unchained, Dark Knight Rises, Silver Linings Playbook, Skyfall, and The Master. Okay, now we get into a little bit of a meteor conversation. Meteor, ew, meat, a little bit. If
Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence about to pull up.
If this decision was tough for you to choose, what came as your number two? What year rivals your year? And I obviously we want to be pressed for time, so we don't need a top 5 or anything. You can just list off some of your favorite movies from that year and kind of just like what that year meant to you, because I had a hard time. Obviously 2012 means a lot to me, but the year I'm going to choose that rivals it probably is the most inspirational. But Jacob, what year rivals your 2017?
Well, I say 1928 specifically because the silent film era. No, I'm fucking with you.
I've watched a lot of Charlie Chaplin lately. And,
shit, dude. I'd say I don't know. I say right now we're gonna go 1 year forward, 2018, because that's whenever I first started working at AMC, and that was for like the first time to where I actively paid attention to week by week theatrical releases. And I mean, if I wasn't at the movie theater like 2 or 3 times a week, oh, I love that profile pic, Justin. If I wasn't at the movie theater 2 or 3 times a week, then I was there around, like at least once a week. I was watching everything new that came out. I was watching, rewatching. I was up there so much I got yelled at by Keisha for being at Highland Village too much. I mean, that's how often I watch movies. But also 2019, I would say, man, like 2019, I feel like was such a great year, which is classics that came out. Films like Parasite, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, there's so much more. I mean, sadly, Joker, not sadly, I gotta stop shitting on movies. Films like Joker came out as well. I mean, it's one of those years I think will stand the test of time as well. There's so many to choose from, to be honest with you. But I'll go 2018.
2018 or 2019?
I'm going 2018 for this.
Okay.
I'll talk about 2019 for a little bit.
Justin.
Yes, sir.
Why did you just block yourself out?
Why did I block myself out? Because I'm here to talk about 2014, the second best year in film. I'm going to give the super duper honorable mention to a film that ends up on people's worst of list, but that's Tusk. Okay, 2014 gave us Tusk, which is fantastic. Love every minute of it. Can't get enough of this film. Number 5. Okay, number 5, Foxcatcher. Love the score. Love the mood this movie sets. This is cinema right here. Acting at its finest, and great moody score to walk around a high school in. Oh, good stuff. Number 4, Gone Girl. Such a well done movie. You're thinking, David Fincher, does he ever make bad movies? No, he doesn't. But this movie right here, his magnum opus. Okay, this is his Schindler's List. Is that Spielberg's best movie? Is that his best movie?
Magnum opus?
Gone Girl.
You choose that over The Social Network.
All right, this is his second magnum opus. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't look over at the show. Do I like Fight Girl with the Dragon Tats? Yes, I'm willing to say it. This is his second magnum opus. Okay, this film is freaking phenomenal. I've seen it more times than I've seen. Don't tell anybody. I've seen this film more times than I've seen the Snyder Cut.
What about if we're talking about Fincher's magnum opus, why are we not letting Alien 3 be in the conversation?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, come on, get some real culture.
Fincher, if you're listening, that movie is phenomenal.
I love you, Fincher.
I love you for Gone Girl, Fincher. Great film. Number three, in my opinion, Christopher Nolan's magnum opus, Interstellar. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
Oh,
literally zero things wrong.
Film Bro Instagram. Interstellar. Another movie.
I don't think you understand what magnum opus means.
This is his chef's kiss.
You're only saying your favorite. Magnum opus is objective. It's not subjective. A magnum opus is everything that director has been leading towards his entire career. He put it all in that. Nope.
No.
Time.
You can't make that his movie whenever he jumped on after Spielberg was attached. That's the only movie he did not initially write.
Inception is his magnum opus. That's the movie he's been working for 10 years. Yeah. He did the entire Dark Knight trilogy. And did he do Prestige for it? I think so, right?
It's either Inception or Dunkirk. Dunkirk has all of his elements he's ever put on film in one movie. Inception, it does as well, but Inception doesn't have the Imax. So it's like, fuck. It doesn't have the biggest element of his career. So that's what, like, magnum opus is objective. It's not subjective. So Interstellar is not his magnum opus. Please.
It is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
There you
By far, nothing even comes remotely close to it. This will forever be my favorite. Okay, forever, the end all be all, my favorite Christopher Nolan film.
That's how you know he's not a real Nolan fan. Nothing comes close to it.
Nothing.
Okay.
There is like Interstellar, then there's like Dark Knight. It's close, but it's not that close.
All I'm saying is I look like Bully McGuire right now.
Moving on to number 2.
I didn't know you
number
ranked
2.
them. You don't want to just list all your movies?
Oh, Whiplash.
Number 2 is Whiplash.
Y'all want to do a Damien Chazelle 3-peat one day?
Absolutely.
We'll probably
in preparation for Babylon.
We'll probably be doing Alex Garland next week for Men.
Oh,
yeah,
I love Men.
So Whiplash.
Pause. Come on, Justin. Come on.
You said pause.
Oh no! Oh,
you didn't hear what I said.
You said pause because you said I love men.
I forget white people, man. They don't. You get what I'm doing, Jacob, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 2 is Whiplash. Again, nothing wrong with this movie. It's 107 minutes, an hour and 47 minutes of nothing but greatness. Fantastic. You can't go wrong with it. It's a great film. Number 1 should come at no surprise. I mean, there shouldn't be a debate. When you take 12 years to make a movie and it comes out this great, there's no debate on, well, is it a great film? Is it the best film? No, it is the film of 2014. There was no other movie in 2014 that, how do I phrase this? There was no other film in 2014 that did what this movie did and reached the highs that this movie did.
Tell that to Birdman, bitch.
Birdman could not hold a candle to this.
Shut up, bully.
Birdman could not hold a candle to Boyhood, okay?
That was so delayed.
I didn't know who you were talking to. I was like, bully.
I'm not even gonna repeat myself. He'll figure it out.
You can see the cogs working in my head.
All right,
number 1,
top
Boyhood.
5.
That's top 5 right there.
My rival year will have to be, and that's why whenever you first said your year,
here we go.
My mouth opened wide. Pause.
2001 because 9/11.
2017. Whenever you said that, I was like, yeah, my second favorite year would have to be 2017. Although, like you had said, 2018 is a very close. It was like really right here. But 2017, because I think 2017 has the most. I think all my top 10 of that year, I think I've seen so many times. It's like I could probably recite them just quickly, not the cocky way like Justin. Quickly, I won't pull out the Blu-rays. I'll list off my top.
They're
10.
right behind you.
Blade Runner, Dunkirk, Get Out, Florida Project, Phantom Thread, The Post, Stronger, Ghost Story, Columbus by Kogonada, and It. Sadly, It is in there, but I was fucking transformed by that movie. I was like, oh man, this is what a blockbuster horror could be. It could be fun. It Chapter 2.
Oh my god, It Chapter 2 is fire.
It Chapter 2 was great.
A dumpster fire.
Bill
Heyo. Say what you will, dude. That shit was legitimately fucking hilarious. Whenever I saw it in theaters, I loved it.
Yeah, that was I was like, this movie is wild.
Bill Hader was the best part about that movie by far. You could tell he had the time of his life.
Even though I know that's how the book goes, but it's like, who knew a movie would not have the same charm and elegance as the first one as soon as you recast the kids as adults?
Yeah, well, I mean,
like,
before we
it was the kids that made the first one so good.
Before we leave it, chapter 2, like whenever like they like that one scene, whenever I think like the movie's about to end, we've passed the climax, and like it sort of cuts to the kids riding their bikes, and it's like, look at how far we've come.
Yeah,
that didn't hit for me.
No.
I was like, I know that it's supposed to be like an emotional moment because they're all growing up, but I'm like, that was 2 years ago. Yeah. Like this ain't no Harry Potter, bro.
I'm like, the only one that did good in that role was Jessica Chastain. Everybody else is just like, this is a cash grab. It has to be. I'm sorry. Well, what's the director's name? Is it Fede Alvarez that did it, or who's it?
Andy Muschietti.
Eddie Muschietti's doing the Flash. That's right. I love him, but damn, you had a hard time. I don't need to list off.
Totally disagree. Chapter 2 is great.
I don't need to list off all the movies from 2017, but I just think it was a fantastic year. I mean, it has one of my top 3 Star Wars films in The Last Jedi that came out. Rian Johnson was great. Logan came out, although I'm not a huge fan of Logan. I do respect it though. Get Out. I don't think you mentioned Get Out earlier, Jacob, but Get Out came out.
I didn't.
Thor Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite Marvel films. Guardians Volume 2, which was a letdown after the first one, but it's still a very fun film. It was just a fantastic year for movies that kind of was just like, wow.
I'd honestly say that 2017, 2018, and 2019 was like this just perfect trifecta of film years.
Yeah, and Marvel was like really getting their feet off the ground too.
Exactly,
like, because you knew where they were leading towards, and it's like, can we just get there? It's like Thor Ragnarok comes out and was that July or it was 2017? Was that in the summer? No, that was in the winter.
That was 18, right? I thought Ragnarok was 18.
No, that was 2017.
Ragnarok came out a month
right before
Justice League.
Oh yeah. That was the same year as Homecoming and Homecoming and Guardians 2. Yeah, that was like that trifecta over the summer.
Yeah, and the thing was like
Justice League.
Ragnarok comes out, and you tell me that.
Oh shit! Yeah, Infinity War came out 2018, dude. Where does the time go?
And Ragnarok comes out and has that mid-credit scene, and you're like,
shit.
Oh shit!
like, I don't know why I thought for a second that Infinity War was 2019, and then Endgame was somehow 2020. Jesus.
And then a few months later, AMC cuts our budget, and we have to in theaters, and Black Panther comes out. But yeah, 2017 is a phenomenal year. So I was happy that you chose it, Jacob, because it shows that like for people listening, like go revisit some of those movies. Like they are like some of them are just all-time classics.
Oh, dude, for real.
But we're gonna move on from this whole conversation. I've had a fun time. So we've got 2012 for me, 2013 for Justin, 2017 for Jacob, our top 5s. 18 for Jacob's second favorite year, 2017 for mine, and 2014 for Justin's. Phenomenal. I love every single one of those years. I clearly, for people that are older listeners, if you're listening, clearly we were not born in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, so we would not choose those movies. I'm sorry. This is our golden era, 2010s. It was our years of growing and learning and watching movies, so that's why I was happy that we all chose the 2010s. If we had chosen 2000, any year from the 2000s, that would have been like, really, man? Weren't you like fucking 5? Like what?
I was just that much better than everybody.
Yeah. He just knew. He was one of those directors that's like, I knew I was going to be a filmmaker since I came up my mom.
I came out the womb with a Super 8 camera.
Dude, how many of those directors have that story? Yeah, I had my dad's Super 8 camera, and we just made little action figure stories. I'm like, damn, dude, I need a Super 8 camera. But no, yeah, that was a fun one. But we're gonna take a quick break, and before we come back, we're gonna talk about Sam Raimi and his return.
Oh man,
it will not specifically be about Doctor Strange. It's just gonna be us talking about Sam Raimi's return. We do love directors, and it was
Woo,
fantastic
woo.
to see him come back. So we'll be right back after this. All right, we're back. So one of the great things this year of films has brought to us, after we just had a full conversation of our favorite year, this year of 2022, one of the great things it has brought to us so far is the return of the one and only great Sam Raimi. I think just that alone makes this a great year for movies so far. Sam Raimi, director of Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, director of Evil Dead, director of Oz the Great and Powerful. Yes, I mentioned that one. Director of Drag Me to Hell. He is a horror director through and through. He's fantastic. I think that in terms of the horror genre, he's one of the leaders, if not the leader in that genre. I know these two have more to say about it than I do. They are more horror fanatics, but for me, I think that he's one of the first few people to actually like use that horror roots and put it into any movie possible that you can. It's not just for horror, that you can do whatever you want. And his return for Doctor Strange, although for me, we'll have a whole episode on Doctor Strange, but for me, Doctor Strange, the story wasn't great. You could feel the return of Sam Raimi, and it was powerful. It was exciting to see him back on the big screen in full blazing IMAX. So I'll open it up for you guys. Just let it out. Let me have it. How excited were you guys to see him return?
It was art. It was art. It's just
that was so funny. It was art. Sam Raimi, you are art.
To be able to see a director use his prolific style in a franchise to where it's more dominated by its, contained universe, it felt refreshing to watch, to see these horror roots sparked through in a Marvel movie to where they actually take something in a different direction stylistically. That's what got me interested in that movie. I sort of agree with Michael to where the story, it was weaker in some aspects. It was a little too conventional for me. It felt, like that standard blockbuster in a way, but whenever Sam Raimi gets the moments to where it's just him at the helm doing what he wants, you can tell that there were you can easily see clear as day the scenes that that he felt inspiration for, that he had that care and love for, particularly whenever Wanda is dream walking, anytime that she's doing the just her witchery, her magic. You feel that Evil Dead come through a lot, man. Justin, I can't, is it the Enchiridion? Is that the name of the book in or am I thinking of Adventure Time?
No,
What's the book in Evil Dead?
Did you just say
the book in Evil Dead is
there's a lot of evil sorcery books and art mediums.
So the book in Evil Dead is called the Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the Adventure Time is the Enchiridion, and is sort of like it's based off of the Necronomicon in Evil Dead. I know.
I love Adventure Time.
I love Adventure Time so much, man.
One of the greatest shows ever.
Anyways, yeah, man. Like the I can't remember the name of the evil book in Doctor Strange, but that was like, okay, yeah, that's a Necronomicon. Tried and true, man. And then you get his POV camera angles where it's like this creature just stalking in on just Wanda and her kids in the 833 universe or whatever the universe is called. There's just the moments where he gets to shine with his direction is the moments where the film is at its best. Mm-hmm. And I think that sort of the entire cast of the Spider-Man trilogy, including Sam Raimi as the director, I just sort of love this passage as they got their chance to sort of return back to the spotlight, other than James Franco, of course, but to see, Tobey Maguire return as Spider-Man and for that love to come back and, sort of just see that love is still there for Tobey. It was endearing to see for Kirsten Dunst to be able to get her Oscar nom through The Power of the Dog and to have her a chance to sort of take that spotlight once more in a way to where it just felt very naturalistic, and it felt healthy being able to see our childhood come back after the struggles with this franchise as it sort of fell apart with the original Raimi trilogy, and then to have Sam Raimi finally come in. And why are you giving me that look?
Did it fall apart?
It did.
Or did it just no?
The cast,
I'm sorry,
the cast did not. I mean, after Spider-Man 3, the cast just really, they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. I know that Kirsten Dunst really hated working on the last Spider-Man movie. She did not like being on it. That was sort of where a lot of casting drama came from. Tobey Maguire, I think sort of the stardom and how it really hindered his career with being able to go on to other projects. That frustrated him a lot. And then with Sam Raimi, I mean, Sam Raimi's just doing whatever Sam Raimi wants to do, but he got that return back to the general public audience. Now,
they were like this close to doing a Spider-Man 4.
I know,
and everyone was coming back. Even now, Kirsten Dunst is like, I'd love to be a part of it. I love those guys.
Well, yeah, time heals, but it was. They were very frustrated from what I understand and what I remember.
From the bastard that is Avi Arad, which actually not bastard, rest in peace.
I was going to say, he's literally like the godfather of Spider-Man. And of all the early 2000 Marvel movies, like he is that guy.
Yeah, but he had a power trip, man. Like he had a real bad power trip. But no, I hear what you're saying, but I didn't know about those rumors that the actors didn't like being a part of it. I could understand James Franco, but
I don't think that they hated working on the trilogy. I think that from what I understand is that they were sort of frustrated with just that third Spider-Man movie is all.
Yeah.
I think just all the production problems that came is sort of it felt that they left it bitter because Sam Raimi wasn't satisfied. His vision sort of got compromised because the studio really wanted to do Venom, and so he didn't get to have his true vision for that third movie. And because of that, just the production problems just sort of sparked up. It felt like they ended the film or the trilogy off on a note that they didn't want to, is sort of my point. And so for this to sort of return to it, you have that return where Tobey Maguire gets to make peace with his Spider-Man, to where it's like, he knows that this is a stepping off point with No Way Home. Kristen Dunst, she gets her spotlight again, which sort of, being spotty with their careers after this trilogy. And then Sam Raimi getting to go back to the helm of superhero movies. It just felt sort of like the return.
I do want to say the ending of Spider-Man 3 is beautiful to me. That movie ends with Toby and Kirsten just hugging each other and dancing at that little nightclub bar. And it just fades to black. And I think it's so sweet and it's so beautiful to end that trilogy, which also, again, I know I say this a lot, but I think that's one of the best trilogies ever made. I love every single one of those movies equally. I don't hate any segment of those movies. I even love Bully Maguire. I love that whole scene. I think it's a perfect trilogy.
Sam Raimi is one of the very few directors that has completed a superhero trilogy. Very few.
John Watts is up there too now.
I think he was the only one up until Chris Nolan, and now obviously we have a little bit more people that have done it. But he's the only one.
I felt that this is sort of just their whole like just couple of months where they got to shine. It felt like it helped, put to bed the whole just drama behind Spider-Man 3 and how that affected the future of that franchise.
Justin, your excitement of seeing Sam Raimi back?
I was super nervous. When that news first broke, I was like, dude hasn't directed since 2013. And in every interview he gave, he said, I'm not really interested in that. I'm more of the producer side now. Like, I like seeing what other people are bringing to the table. And so when I heard that he was doing Doctor Strange 2, I was like, there must be something really, really good in this script to bring him back. Or Kevin Feige said, hey, I know you got done dirty in 2007. So therefore, what if we bring you back and we let you do a few things that maybe you weren't allowed to do in 2007? Yes, sir, Jacob Deering.
This blew my mind. I don't know. A very strong misconception that I had about Raimi. I did not know that he only produced Crawl. For the longest time, I thought he made it. I was wondering why y'all weren't saying Crawl. I was like, I like Crawl. Why are you not mentioning it?
Oh, I fucking love Crawl, but nope.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. You just produced it. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
I just saw.
That was like the whole point of like, you know, him coming back is like this dude hasn't directed in like 10 years. Like
Ever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I did not know that. I always assumed that he did Crawl. Fuck, man.
yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Like, sorry, finished it.
Get up on trivia. So yeah, I was super nervous because I hold Sam Raimi in high regards, and I didn't want him to slip up in the big Marvel world like some people think he did with Spider-Man 3. I disagree. I know he's even spoken publicly that, you know, I like Spider-Man 3, but yeah, I have my problems with it, which he has every right to because his hand was forced. But I think the product he delivered was still great. Should I get into my backstory, or do you want to jump in real quick? Because that's just what I felt in his Doctor Strange world.
Wait, should you get into what? Your backstory?
My backstory was Sam Raimi because like I gotta bring in. I'm keep small. I'm gonna keep brief, but I gotta bring in a little bit of baggage.
Yeah, we're not talking about Doctor Strange. Talking about Sam Raimi.
Oh, thank God. Okay, because I don't really have that much to say about Doctor Strange, truthfully.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I just
Hating will kill you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a good movie. Not gonna remember it in a day from now, but I grew up with Sam Raimi. He was the first horror director that my dad ever let me watch. He wouldn't even let me watch The Matrix 2 and 3. He said that was too violent. For some reason, though, I was able to watch The Evil Dead. So this was my first edition of Evil Dead that I ever got. This nice thick DVD right here. This has hours upon hours of bonus features. And this was my first introduction to Sam Raimi and horror as a whole. I didn't grow up on Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare, none of them, Texas Chainsaw. This was my introduction. So Sam Raimi holds a special, special place in my heart. And the first film I ever saw of Sam Raimi's in theaters that wasn't a Spider-Man film was Drag Me to Hell. And for me, Drag Me to Hell is my favorite Sam Raimi movie that he's ever done. This encapsulates everything that he did in Evil Dead into a mainstream horror film, because the majority of people are not going to get down with Evil Dead. It's a very obscure kind of horror because it's more gory. No, hold on. It's more gory and it's much more low budget. And the average teenager our age is not going to fuck with that movie. But they will get down with Drag Me to Hell. I guarantee it. Because you want to know why? I showed my girlfriend Evil Dead. You know what she said? This is an ugly movie. Granted, she don't like film. But that's just another thing. This is the best gateway to get into Sam Raimi.
Who is the majority of people that won't like Evil Dead? I've only heard great
teenagers.
What teenagers are
people
you
our
to?
age?
Who is?
Yeah.
What teenager is our age? I'm fucking 24.
I'm 21.
Give me another 20. Jacob,
How
go
old do
to
you
work
think
tomorrow
you
and ask
are?
anybody. Teenagers. I'm saying people our age. Teenagers.
Go to work.
Jacob, go to work and ask any of your colleagues who are in the
They'll hate
concession
it.
stand.
Are you
ask them if they
are
want to
you-
watch Evil Dead.
Are you talking about the 2013 one or the same?
No,
No,
I'm
the
talking
old
about
one.
20.
Are
I'm
you-
talking about
are you-
1981 Evil Dead.
Are you
Yeah,
asking?
Like
are you
this
asking?
Evil Dead.
Are you asking him to go tell teenagers
To
to
go
go
watch Evil
to go
Dead.
watch Evil
Like
Dead?
if this is on
and you don't-
Netflix,
and you don't think they will
if-
like it?
no, I
Justin,
think they're gonna hate this. If
Justin,
this is
should I
on
tell-
Netflix,
Justin,
they're going to hate this.
Should I
But
tell
if
them that I have
if this
extra
is on
copies in my van?
Netflix,
You have what, Jacob?
Should I tell them that I have
that's
extra
just
copies in my
stupid.
van?
What, Jacob? I didn't hear what you said. Justin like spoke as soon as you talked to Giz.
Oh, he wants me to talk to teenagers, so I said, should I tell them that I have extra
At
copies
your
of it in my
work.
van?
Bro, he keeps on talking as soon as you
He won't let me say the joke. It's ruined at this point.
I'm like, this shit is ridiculous at this
It's
point.
so unfunny, Justin.
Say it one more time, Jacob.
He wants me to talk to teenagers. So I'm saying, why don't I tell them that I have extra copies in my van? That's all.
Holy shit. Oh, that was funny. Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree with you, Justin. Just because I mean, Sam Raimi.
if this movie is on Netflix,
Can I fucking
they're
talk?
going to like this one more. Okay?
Jesus fucking Christ!
No, you can't talk. God damn it.
conversation. This isn't show and tell, motherfucker. Yeah.
I know it's not show and tell, but I'm making a point that I still haven't finished yet. This film is much more universal, okay? You can put this on Netflix with teenagers and they're going to love it. You put this on Netflix, they're going to be like, this is dumb, this is old, and I hate it. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's what anybody born after 2005 says. They don't watch old movies.
Guess who the audience of Doctor Strange was? It was all those teenagers who like Marvel films.
Why do you care what teenagers say? Are you obsessed with teenagers right now?
Christ.
Enough with the teenagers.
I'm trying to reach out to our demographic, okay?
They're not our demographic.
They're not our demographic. I'm not a fucking teenager.
Who's watching podcasts on YouTube?
Not fucking teenagers.
You don't know that.
We do.
God. You don't.
Oh my God, Justin.
What the fuck?
Because you're talking to teenagers, I need you to go up to all the teenagers that you talk to and ask them how many of them watch a fucking podcast.
Yo, Hayden, sorry, I'm speaking to someone off screen. Do you care if teenagers watch you?
Do you want them to watch you?
Justin's like, I want teenagers watching me. That's basically what he's saying.
Justin, you are ready for Hollywood.
He's like, teenagers are watching this podcast.
Or just in general.
Drag Me to Hell, I have seen. That ending is phenomenal. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, I've seen. Oz the Great and Powerful, I've seen. And Doctor Strange. I've not seen any Sam Raimi pre-Spider-Man. So I can't act like I'm the biggest Sam Raimi fan, but I do know that he has such a big imprint on the superhero genre. So yeah, I mean, it was just great to see him back on the big screen. I do love that he used full IMAX. I love his style. I mean, not to get too much into Doctor Strange, but he just kind of opened, like, from the very first moments, like, you're watching a film and they're going on that the other multiverse. It's Doctor Strange and America Chavez running from this monster, and you're like, okay, another superhero film. Okay, and then Doctor Strange wakes up from his dream and the twirl of the camera and the tracking back. I was like, oh, this is full Sam Raimi. Let's fucking go.
You're just like, love it.
Let's go. And
also,
every action sequence was Sam Raimi. It was it just didn't feel like you were watching a Marvel film. It just felt like you were writing a very poorly written
Sam Raimi movie. Justin, we cannot talk about Sam Raimi without talking about Bruce Campbell.
Oh, Bruce Campbell is the guy.
Oh man, he is. I love the relationship, man. I love it whenever a director has that actor that they always go to, and they have that special relationship. Bruce Campbell is the epitome of that relationship with Sam Raimi. Seeing him again through this small cameo, it was hilarious. I know that people were disappointed by the post credits, but I thought it was genuinely hilarious. It was great to see him back. How do you feel, Justin?
There is a reason I still keep this DVD box set, even though I have a Blu-ray of it, and that's for the Bruce Campbell commentary on here, where he did a solo track on this film. And I listen to only selective commentaries. I can probably count how many commentaries I've listened to on one hand. This is the only commentary that I have listened to more than once in my entire life. He is so funny on here. He brings so much charisma to a movie that is kind of dry and kind of I'd say it's pretty scary, but it is a very selective tasted film. That's not the right words for it, but
it's a low budget.
You have to be in the right, you got to be in the right mindset for this. And when you are, and then you listen to that Bruce Campbell commentary, is fantastic. It's one of the best things. I listened to it just for a good laugh. The opening 5 minutes of his commentary is great because he already points out flaws in the filmmaking process. He points out bad acting from himself and other people in the cast. There's an actor who flubs a line in this movie, and you could see his face go back as he realizes he flubs the line, and Bruce Campbell points that out. Sam Raimi doesn't, but Bruce Campbell does. He has so much fun with this movie. His relationship with Raimi, like you mentioned, is great. He is in every single Raimi film except for Drag Me to Hell. I don't remember him in that film.
He's probably.
I don't think he's in it.
He's probably there.
If he is, he's a voice.
It's got to be like a small cameo. There's no way. That'll break my heart.
Brother.
No, I think
I
I think he's a voice.
I love
Jacob fact check me on that.
It's just like we
Doing
didn't
right
think
now.
it's just like we didn't think Michael Caine was in Dunkirk, and then you find out he was.
Yeah.
It's like he's got to be in there somewhere. But while you're looking it up, just my final thoughts is like, yeah, I mean, Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi is just, that's a phenomenal duo. I love the quote that Sam Raimi had about their relationship. He was like, yeah, every time I do a movie, I'm just like, I text Bruce Campbell, I'm like, hey baby, I'm doing a film, you want to be in it? And he's just like, yes. So it is phenomenal. I don't know whose AirPods those were, but I heard that someone's shit is dying. Is that you, Justin?
He's the only one with AirPods, I think.
I heard those.
I haven't heard a pop.
He is not in it, but Sam Raimi's,
I was about to say, I don't think he is.
Sam Raimi's brother, Ted Raimi, is in it.
Ted.
Fuck yeah, Ted.
That was cool. And so good to see Sam Raimi back. I'm still having fun. I mean, my peanuts. All right, we're back.
Sipping on my apple juice.
Let's talk a little bit about this upcoming year, and kind of what this year has in store for us as we wrap it up, and what y'all are excited for. So I think number one on my list, and probably for you, Justin, is Avatar 2 in 3D in IMAX full.
Oh, dude. Justin, I know the right conclusion. We're moving on, but real quick, man, how'd you like that 3D in Doctor Strange? I'm legitimately.
I was a little disappointed.
Really?
I have a love-hate relationship with 3D. When it's used in a visual aspects, like in terms of visual effects, you can obviously enhance it a lot more. When it's just two people talking, that's when 3D struggles, and that's why 3D gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
So whenever it's Strange and what's her name, Rachel McAdams together, there's just not much happening, and it just looks like cardboard cutouts.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever Strange goes through multiverses, whenever there's action, that's when 3D really, really shines. Not everything deserves to be in 3D, but I think there are moments in Strange where it works. And I think if this is the movie to even kickstart a little 3D revolution, then that's great, because we have 3 other movies coming out that we know confirmed are going to be in 3D in premium large formats, which is this one. We know Jurassic World is coming to IMAX 3D, and we know Avatar is as well. Thor, we have no idea. But if this is the kick starting point of 3D back in large format theaters, this is not a terrible starting point.
You know, a movie that is great in 3D, and Michael will agree with me on this. Blade Runner 2049. Fantastic in 3D. Roger Deakins, he loves it. Gave it his blessing.
3D gets a bad rap because of the cinematographers and directors and fans that hate it. Like, I mean, well, in some moments, but
would you believe me if I told you I've never seen Blade Runner 2049 in any other format other than IMAX once and 3D twice? God. Never seen it in 4K. Never seen it in 1080p.
Don't let Roger Deakins find out about that. He might kill you.
How can you do that? How can you do that? That man says, "Don't watch my movie in 3D." And you're gonna watch it in 3D.
Because I think the 3D looks a little bit better.
Justin is a man of principle. Okay.
You think the 3D looks better than what the cinematographer says? It doesn't look good.
I'm not saying I disagree with Roger. I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, my preferred way of watching 2049, which has been 3D, which has been like 3 years since I've seen 2049, so I don't really remember it all that much. But if I'm gonna watch 2049, I'm gonna do it in 3D. Yeah.
But I feel like watching a movie that wasn't supposed to be in 3D is like disrespecting the art of 3D in general, because that's just the definition of a cash grab. And that's all it is. So you literally went to go see a cash. It's like whenever you try to tell me, it's like, oh, don't go see an IMAX movie just because it was put in IMAX. It's like, yeah, unless it was like IMAX certified, it doesn't have to have full bars, full top and bottom. But unless it was like IMAX certified, you shouldn't go see every movie in IMAX. Like, It's
I
just
don't
not.
think you should, but I'm never going to criticize you if you say I saw, name
But-
random movie 5. If you
but
saw
like-
Oz the Great and Powerful in IMAX, I wouldn't. That's not a good example.
But like
Man of Steel,
Avatar,
Man of Steel, not shot in IMAX. I would never criticize somebody for going to see Man of Steel in IMAX. I'd be
no,
like,
I
good
know
for you.
you
That's
won't
great.
criticize, but it's basically like the same thing. It's like you're kind of just getting a cash grab. The director and the cinematographer could care less if it was in IMAX. It kind of might ruin the movie. It's like Avatar, 100%. I'll go see it in 3D. It was made for that. But like some of these movies that are coming out in 3D are
So
just
why
like,
didn't you see Strange in 3D?
I didn't know if it was made for it or not. And it's just 3D is 3D.
But
Like,
it's
there's cash
another
grab.
dimension inside the frame. That's what I care about. I just want to go. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I want to go inside the frame. To me, 3D is the best way to do that. Now,
Sure, that's like the
Not for
only
that.
way to do that.
well, yeah, and that's why I like it so much. That's why I prefer to watch everything in 3D. Like that is my preferred way to watch film.
I thought you were about to say you prefer to watch everything everywhere all at once in 3D. And honestly,
I would do it. Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool if they shot for it in 3D.
Yeah,
But
they shot for it. Like Great Gatsby, great in 3D. Who You Go, great in 3D. Life of Pi, great in 3D. Avatar,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
all right,
If I go see Avatar in theaters, I'm seeing it in 3D.
Okay, so let me ask you
Every
this:
single
before
time.
before you watch Avatar 2, how are you going to watch the first Avatar?
If they
in
have it
3D.
in 3D in theaters, which they're releasing it, I'm seeing it in 3D. It's
Okay.
made for that. That's the experience.
that's what James Cameron wants you to do.
Yeah. But if Black
Yeah.
Panther is released in 3D, I'm like almost certain that Marvel is just doing a cash grab.
But even if they're doing a cash grab, it's a better experience because you're going
No,
in the
no,
frame.
no.
Yeah.
No, it makes the picture darker. The resolution gets fuzzier. It's not a better experience.
Mike and I wear glasses. So how many be a 6 eyes motherfucker? It's very
I wear
uncomfortable.
glasses too. I got no
Oh
issue.
yeah, I
But
forget.
anyway, excitement for me. It's Avatar. I am now recently excited for Top Gun Maverick just because it's getting rave reviews. I'm excited for that. Jurassic World. I'm excited for Thor, Black Panther. I think this year will kind of light year. I love some Pixar, some good Pixar. So I'm excited. This year will be pretty good for us.
Hell yeah. For this year, I mean, I feel like we've already had a great year already with Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Batman, The Northman. I don't know if Mike has seen this, but X, that was a fantastic, just sort of what's it called? God, what's the genre that it's called? It's a slasher, but it's I can't think of it. Just a slasher horror. I mean, I feel like we've had a solid start to 2022 so far, and I am more than excited to see sort of how we finish out throughout this latter half of the year.
I made a top 3 for my most anticipated. Number 3 is Nope. Number 2 is, well, I actually tossed this one around back and forth, but number 2 is Babylon. And then number 1 for me, my most anticipated film of the year is Halloween Ends. I'm a huge fan of Halloween. I'm one of the 10 people in America who like Halloween Kills. Love Halloween Kills. Like I love that film so much.
You might be the one at 5 then.
All right, then I'm with 5. So this is wrapping up every Halloween film in their continuity, but to me, it's wrapping up all of them.
Thank
all the
God.
way from 1978 Halloween to Rob Zombie Halloween to David Gordon Green's Halloween. He's going to direct all 3 of these movies. So this is the David Gordon Green trilogy. So for me, he's walking on sacred ground right now because as a big fan of Michael Myers, this movie is going to mean a lot to me. And I can't wait to see what they do with Laurie Strode. I hope they bring it home.
It will be a great into a franchise until they inevitably reboot it 5 years later.
Of course. But there's going to be only one David Gordon Green trilogy. And this is it. This is the finale. So I'm excited in that aspect.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year hopefully can be in one of our favorite years of movies.
Hopefully.
Last year ended really well, but it started off really poor because of COVID. But it ended really well. So this year has started off with a bang. Let's see if we can continue and see how great this year can end up being as a return to the movie theaters. I mean, I'm excited because Netflix is starting to realize, like, hey, let's start releasing our movies in theaters. So now we're getting Knives Out 2 in theaters, which I was nervous about. I'm like, Ryan Johnson would never. Ryan
Yeah.
Johnson would never. Now,
Still though, man,
I'm
it
excited.
makes me sad that they're only getting the 45 days because I just remember like the one big thing about Knives Out. Um, Me and Mike always talked about just how long that bitch stayed in theaters. That stayed until COVID shut us down. It was still in theaters up until March 20th.
Yeah,
Like
it was a
it's
long running movie.
that's insane, man. That's
It's a
awesome.
great family film. It's a great. I mean, it's well directed. It was well written. Like it
Has
was like,
great rewatchability.
yeah, it was just fantastic, and so I'm excited for that to come out. Babylon, obviously, the return of Chazelle after he did like a 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 year trifecta with Whiplash, La La Land, and First Man, just like 2014, 16, 18. And now he's back after about 5 years. So I'm excited. So let's wrap it up. But before we do, as always, we'll talk very briefly about like what we've been watching. So starting with you, Justin, what you've been up to very quickly.
I have a shocker for you to start it off with. I watched a television show, an entire series of a television show.
What?
I know. It's crazy. I didn't even mean to watch it. It just kind of happened. It fell in my lap. And so I just said, okay. I went on Hulu and I watched the entire series of Pam and Tommy. Why did I watch it? I don't really know. It was just kind of on the front page, and I was like, this is 6 episodes. I could knock this out real quick. And so I did, and there's still, I know I like my long form television where it's, or I don't. I'm like mediocre on it. I always want movies to be longer, but I want television to be shorter. To me, I don't know if this story deserved 6 hours, but I could tell you it's a pretty interesting story. It's a story that needs to be told because there really are no good people in this whole story. Seth Rogen is not a good person. What's his face? Sebastian Stan is not a good person. Maybe you could make the case that Lily James was pretty good the whole time, but there's really no heroes in this whole entire story. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And I enjoyed getting back into a television show. So that was kind of interesting.
What about you, Jacob?
Oh man, I had a pretty good month so far, which is what I've been watching. I started off by watching this Iranian film called Taste of Cherry. It's directed by Abbas Kiarostami. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. Michael knows I have a great track record with pronouncing people's names correctly. Ended up getting Doctor Strange in. And then I did Sinister, Northman, Taxi Driver, Full Metal Jacket. It Comes at Night. I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one, for the first time ever. I watched Uncut Gems, and then I finally got around to watching Fantastic Beasts, Secret of Dumbledore, and I endured that, and I especially endured Firestarter. And I banged out Moon Knight. Moon Knight was sort of the first TV that I've gotten back to watching, just something on a week-to-week basis. It's sort of how I felt with most Marvel shows, with a strong start, and then it sort of just falters off into that Marvel formula towards the end. But no, I mean, I had a really great May so far, just being able to knock out some classics and some just amazing films. Mike, you're muted.
For me, it was not so much on movies. It was definitely NBA playoffs, as Jacob knows, nonstop. This is kind of like my hiatus for movies. So I've been like straight TV show and Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, baby. I'm right there
late
with
to
them.
the party, but I'll be quite honest. This shit to me is better than Breaking Bad, and this shit to me is just in movies or TV in general is probably some of the best fucking stories and directing and writing you've ever fucking seen in your life. Like, I've never seen anything like this, and I think it'll go down as one of the best TV shows of all time. I don't quite think it'll pass Breaking Bad just simply because not enough people watch it, but I personally think it's better than Breaking Bad just because it just tells a little bit more of a simpler story with just just a directing prowess that's second to none. Like Vince Gilligan is going to go down in the I don't even know if they have it, but Television Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah,
that shit is legendary.
it's legendary.
I'm on season 4 right now, and I only have 2. The last season is starting. They're about to go on their mid-season break for season 6. So I have until July to finish it before they restart the season for the rest of the final season. So I'm excited to finish this shit. It is going to be epic.
I've been doing the same thing as Mike. Something fun that I've been doing with it is I've been sort of doing like this alternating between the two shows. Like I'd watch like 1 or 2 episodes of Breaking Bad, and then I'd switch over to Better Call Saul, and I sort of keep flip-flopping because Breaking Bad I've watched maybe like 4 times. It's one of my comfort shows. I love watching it. I love its intensity. I love how Vince Gilligan just shows how amazing of a showrunner he is. And he's
I thought it was funny that one day I was like, yeah, dude, Rian Johnson directed like apparently the best episode of that entire series.
Yeah, dude.
You're like, I didn't know that. What the fuck?
It was Ozymandias who directed, right?
Ozymandias, dude.
Yeah, man. I thought that was Vince Gilligan, and it wasn't. It blew me away.
He did Fly. Like Fly is so underrated as an episode. Like,
yeah, dude. Fly is I think Fly is one of my favorite episodes. I love it whenever TV shows they do these like bottle episodes where it's just contained within one setting and just a couple characters. Yep. It's so fun, man. It's so fun. Yeah. It was also like that episode. Just while we're on it. It sort of did like in Uncut Gems, a movie, whenever like after Howard is, he's leaving the nightclub after he catches Julia Fox with The Weeknd, and you sort of like see these long takes of both of them walking separate ways, and it slows down the pace of the movie. That was sort of like that perfect break in the show after all the chaos that you see as Walter goes to war with Giancarlo Esposito. Throughout season 4 is just sometimes you need that break before you get that nonstop intense action, and that's exactly what that episode was. It was necessary.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So Better Call Saul. I know you're trying to catch up, Jacob. So I'm on season 4. I don't think we're gonna catch the mid-season finale, but
probably not.
I think it comes back for episode 8 or 7. I can't remember which one they're stopping with in July, and you know who's showing up in that. They might show up in this one on Sunday.
I think they're gonna show up in the mid-season break.
Yeah, but catch up, man, because I want to watch that week to week, dude.
My theory is it's gonna be on video now. My theory is that the show sort of as we know it with the prequel part of Better Call Saul, I think it will largely end at this mid-season break. And then the latter half is going to be focused on present day Saul Goodman as he's going back to finish off his loose ends, and that's how the show's going to end. Because what fun is it whenever you know how it's going to end, and people keep saying that it's going to end with Jesse and Walter walking through his office, but that's too soft of an ending for the show. I feel like
and it would make it all about that. It's kind of like really, we just watched 6 seasons
just for that
to meet Jesse and Walter. Like, no, that's weird.
Yeah, like that, and that's not how Vince Gilligan operates. Like there's something big that we're gonna see that's gonna be unfinished at this mid-season break, and we're gonna know exactly where it's going.
I wish we were caught up for the mid-season finale coming up. Because if you remember the mid-season finale of Breaking Bad, it's his brother-in-law figuring out who he is, and then it's like you just find then he just ends it, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, then you know what season 5 is actually going to be about. Because like season 5, you think, okay, this final season is going to be him. He's going to have his empire. He's going to get what he wants, and it ends. And then that mid-season finale, you find out that Dean Norris, the Hank Schrader, he figures out who Walter White really is. You're like, oh shit, and then this is all how it comes crumbling down, man.
Then the rest of the season is just a chase. It's just a chase.
It's gonna be something exactly like
those final 6 episodes of Breaking Bad are probably the most like nerve-wracking and intense and anxiety-inducing episodes of a show I've ever seen in my entire life. Every move every character made was just like second to none. So I'm like, if Better Call Saul ends like that, I'm telling you, it'll go down as one of the best shows ever. But
Justin, I know long form TV isn't your thing, man, but I would love if you could bench watch the shit and you can do a pod. I mean, I know Mike and I were doing a podcast on Better Call
100%.
Saul. I'd love for you to be there, man. You just gotta find some love for it.
All right. That concludes that. Thank you guys for coming on as usual. Thanks for listening to our audience, and check us out next week. We have another great episode in store. But until then, watch another film, TV, whatever it is, until we come back. But yeah, thank you all for being here.